start our meeting. I believe we have invocation.
Good morning. Let's pray. Father, we the righteousness of God in Christ, we come boldly to your throne of grace for strength and wisdom again today. As we walk in the pure, perfect, and powerful love of God, we stand against the insane rage, evil, and hatred of hell. Thank you that no weapon that is formed against your people shall prosper, and we shall condemn every tongue that rises against us. We plead the blood of Jesus over Madison County, and we break every curse in and on Madison County. Father, we declare that every evil activity against truth and righteousness in Madison County stops now in Jesus' name. Father, cause your enemies to stumble, fall into confusion, panic, and fall into their own traps that they have set for those upholding truth and righteousness. Satan, we overcome you by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. Father, strengthen our righteous leaders, send legions of angels to protect them, ease their cares and give them rest. Give them clarity and give them your energy, your peace, and your wisdom as they seek you. We call forth the blessing and favor of God on Madison County. We pray for unity, peace, and safety within our community, and that everyone who speaks offers only helpful solutions from the heart without malice. We decree these things in the mighty name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Rhonda.
Thank you, Rhonda. Okay, let's go ahead and do a roll call, please.
Supervisor Fitch? Here. Supervisor Hobbs? Here. Supervisor Stancil?
Here. All right, we'll go ahead and review the agenda, disclosure, conflict of interest. We have two amendments that were requested. One was for receive and file, which is the compensation board report, as well as a resolution regarding naming Highway 92, George Washington Carver Highway. That was
Just a piece of it.
just a piece of it, yes. So we're gonna go ahead and I'll entertain a motion to amend the agenda to add those two items.
So moved. Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we're now on to the consent agenda. I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as amended with the receive and file item of the compensation board report.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we're going into department head reports and discussion. First one up is Michelle.
Michele Brandt, Madison County Auditor. Copy is my report.
Is it possible to get these electronically?
Before the meetings or after the meetings?
Whenever you're able, I guess. It'd be great to get them electronically.
I can.
That'd be great, thank you.
Would you prefer that in lieu of
Even
at
if
the
you wanted-
meeting?
Well, if you could do it in advance, that'd be fabulous.
I know you like paper.
I like paper, I'm okay
But I
with
like
it.
electronic, so
Yeah.
that'd be great.
I'll do either.
They
Yeah,
won't
I
be,
don't
they,
care.
they most likely will not be prior to the meeting, so.
Yeah, I understand, there's time
Okay,
constraints
thank
there,
you.
so whenever you're able.
My update includes a budget process update. I have updated and you have attached, the general supplemental. It was requested to drop the numbers by $176,404, and that has been done, so you're gonna see that, on the attachment. The next step is to enter this into DOM and publish the levy amounts and publish in the paper within the 1020 guidelines, within the accordance of the code. We have, council
Michelle, I have a question. So you're gonna lower that general supplemental 176,404. So that lowers that levy, but then what about all our new revenue? So that's gonna put us behind the 8 ball, right?
That was, yes, but that was what I was directed to do by the board. So you can see in what I've given you, I just wanted to show you that I did it.
So basically, just to recap, this is so we aren't gonna be collecting any more taxes this coming fiscal year.
Controls our growth.
We will not be collecting more in taxes this fiscal year maximum as last year, correct? Yes, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Anything else with
Nope.
that? Next would be, we've also contacted, mail services to ensure that the mailings that need to go out with this happens in a timely manner. The annual gap report has not been completed. Solutions is on standby to assist me with the month-end balancing when the treasurer balances. State auditor report update. The last piece of information has been received as of yesterday, and I provided you a copy of the email that was mentioned in the last meeting. As the courthouse custodian, we have received information from Johnson Controls, and I guess because I was absent the last time you guys had a dialogue about this, what is it that you're wanting from, to know? I did give you an information about the difference between digital watchdog and Exactivision. In, maybe the manufacturing location of digital watchdog is USA and Asia. The other comes, which we have in the courthouse and in the sheriff's office, we have, it's manufactured in Fisher, Indiana in Europe. So is there any other information you
So
want?
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, you wanted a breakdown of all the pricing, so we can compare and price out different vendors?
Basically a top-down evaluation of that camera system versus the camera system in the other locations, because we have 2 different platforms, serviced by 2 different entities. And I'd like to evaluate if it makes more sense to transition from the Johnson Controls platform.
To what?
I think
To what is the question,
Yeah.
if there's something better.
Well, they do both. They do both. I did have a question,
What do you mean
however.
They do both, what do you mean by that?
I got a call from Summit Technologies. Do we work with them anymore?
They're the ones that put the system in here and at the EMS building.
They must all, do they still have access that their message was the cameras are out, Treasure 1 on the west side, also of the EMS.
Yes, they
So who-
maintain those cameras. The
That's
one,
what I understood.
this is what I understood, the one in the
We
courthouse.
don't pay
is
them
Johnson.
anything.
I think it's part of their agreement,
What agreement is that?
when we purchased the equipment.
So we have a vendor that we don't do business with monitoring our cameras.
When I reviewed this, almost a year ago now, Summit was the service provider for this building in EMS for
Correct.
those camera systems. So
I
I don't
will-
know
I will
what may have
dive into that.
changed, yeah, in the meantime.
Yeah, who knows what's happened in the last year? I certainly don't.
So they're the ones that put the cameras in here, and the concern I have from not just a pricing standpoint, but my concern is from a technical standpoint. Right now, those 2 cameras, are on the same server, so when you log into that server, say our police officers log into that server, they can access it. To get into the courthouse one, it's an actual separate login.
Sure.
Plus, there's no diversity. So if something happens with that server, it does not automatically fail over. So what I'd like to see is a large enough server that can manage all 3 buildings, so if something happens in one building, they can still access the building because it fails over to a different server.
Okay.
So currently, by having 2 separate servers or 2 separate platforms, they can't do that. So I'd like to evaluate that, plus the watchdog, we purchase licensing once and that's it, there's no annual renewal.
Are you not
licensing.
concerned about where it's manufactured?
I am, yes.
Okay,
So
cause that's been a
Yes,
theme.
I am, and that's one of the reasons why we chose the one we did in this building and EMS, was for that particular reason. So-
Those are watchdogs.
Yes. Yes.
So you're okay with
They're-
them being
they're
made in
in-
Asia?
They're NDAA approved.
Correct.
So
Okay.
we are looking for NDAA approved,
As is the other.
Correct.
Exactivision.
correct, but we're not just talking about that now, we're talking about the actual technical support. We wanna make sure we have diversity, because I don't want something to fail at a very inopportune time that doesn't fail over a turnover server. So if we could validate the pricing, which is important to you, for me is the technical aspect, I wanna make sure our first responders can access any camera at any time without wasting time with a separate login. So if you could provide that information, that would be great.
And what I was looking for as well, in addition to that, was, you know, the investment in this camera system and this platform. We've already invested more into it, and that's why I'm like, stop, let's pause, and let's evaluate if this is really the best fit for us, longer term, versus investing more into it, without having gone through that exercise.
Okay. All right, moving on. I have placed a call into Johnson Controls for follow-up questions. And again, I don't think we're under contract with Summit at this point.
No, they are just as needed.
I'm not comfortable with that. Anyway, okay, so now, the vault and the IT room conversion, just as a follow-up. When Solutions comes in March, we're gonna work on getting that room added as a resource on Outlook, so you'll be able to book it just like you can this and the third floor courtroom. But please remember that it will not be available during absentee voting periods.
So
The
will
other-
that, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Will that, conference room remain unlocked then? How do we get access to it if we book it?
You'll check out a key.
From your office, or?
Probably from buildings and grounds.
Okay. Because I asked, one of the custodial staff members yesterday, and he didn't have a key, so.
Correct.
Okay, so that will change. Okay.
We wanted to wait till we could, we were kind of waiting on the Johnson Controls thing to be finished, because the cameras that are in there are new. So that's what we're waiting on, and we'll just delay a little bit longer. Okay?
And if you need, so I'm sure if anyone needs the room, they can just contact you as an ad needed, say, hey, I need the room, and then get it.
Well, again, if we're gonna be having it monitored, there's nothing to say we can't unlock it in the morning
Sure.
and lock it up at night. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Next would be, data and safety security future. I mentioned this, I can't even remember if I read it last time, but moving the server location presently in the new conference room to the maintenance office was observed and recommended that our server not be in a location where the public could be once we turn it open to, the general, I don't envision having a courthouse resource being available to the public, but we never know, so. That's, I need to do some more evaluating, but the cages are about $500 a piece, and we can move to a much smaller cage.
So, my concern with the basement is the heat.
We're not moving it to the basement, we would move it to the, maintenance office.
So nothing would go in the basement at all?
There's already a phone switch there, and we do
Yeah.
need to secure it. It's really not a good
I know.
situation,
So
so
probably,
I'm looking into that, so 2
Okay.
cages.
Okay.
So if it's going to go into a cage, why can't it stay where it's at? If it's gonna be
It's
secure.
it's really not appropriate if we're gonna be having meetings and stuff in there. It's probably best to be in an area where it's not normally publicly accessible. So for me, from a technical standpoint, I think that's a good idea. I'm the one that actually brought up the concern. So, we really need to move it to where,
So the logic behind moving it to maintenance is? why
It's
maintenance?
locked.
because it's locked and it's not something the public goes in and out of.
Okay.
And we don't have public meetings
It's a
there.
private office.
Yeah, it's a private
Okay.
office. So thank you for doing that.
You're welcome. Then, I haven't done much more with the VPN access. Heard back from all the department heads, and we just need to finish the audit and circle back to Solutions. New, that I referenced last time is an in-house audit of salaries. We have discovered more employees have been affected by modifications made to the pay period salary amounts. And once, we've reviewed all salaried employees, I will provide a report and possibly initiate an investigation of why this was done, so.
So they were shorted, their wages
Shorted.
are shorted.
What
Yep.
what is the pay, what do you mean by pay period?
So there's two columns. There's the salary where you enter in an annual salary, and then there's a pay period where it's divided up,
Ah,
okay, into 26 pay periods.
okay,
That's what I'm talking about.
okay. So it was it's possible it was misdone?
Nope, I don't think so.
So Michelle, these townships that were shorted, they're just out, right?
Oh, you're talking about South,
Yeah, they're just out all that money.
when the township budgets?
No, she's talking about salaries.
I understand,
employees.
I get the salaries, and I know
Okay.
you've got quite a few that have been shorted, they're been
I
paid
know of
too
one.
much, too little.
I know one, St. Charles is just gonna be out $40,000 this last year.
For the townships?
They're
Yeah,
fired.
because- Yeah, fire.
Yep.
And that was our error.
But that's different than this, what you're talking about
I
here.
understand
I just wanna
completely.
make sure, I'm trying to make sure
I
I'm not
understand.
missing, so.
I'm just saying, there's a lot of money mistakes.
Give me the cliff notes, what happened with the township payment?
They didn't levy for it, the township wrote their budget. Typically, we oversee that. And last year, that was not, it was done differently, and, so it was missed. And then therefore, if the township doesn't levy for those dollars, they don't get those dollars. And it amounted to about $45,000.
So they didn't submit it?
No, they
Okay.
submitted it.
They just missed it. There's a column.
Did they miss it or we miss it?
They submitted, so,
They submitted.
yeah.
Townships were, that specific one was on like automatic transfers to the treasurer, and they asked about it and were told that they didn't have to do anything, since it was an automatic transfers.
Can you say that a little louder if you're gonna talk?
They were like getting automatic, tax disbursement directly to the city for that levy, instead of the township getting it and then them writing a check. And they had, you know, the prior office had, done a lot more, had a lot more involvement with townships, I guess. And when they inquired about it, they were told that they didn't have to worry about it, so they had certified a budget,
Without the
with
levy.
no levy, and then it was
Oh, because
certified by
it had been automatic withdrawal, so they assumed it was gonna be automatic.
Yeah, and I guess they were told that,
That's what they
and then it, former auditor certified a no fire levy. It's like,
And they
Thank
go
you.
by what they send us and,
we usually send out like a,
We're sitting in a very good spot right now. We have, how many of our townships have their hearings? I think 7 are set.
I think
One's
we
already been
4 or
certified
5
correctly.
were set, but I think we had like 11 or 12 out of 16.
Yep, and that's out of
set.
16, so we're very, very excited about that
We
part.
bring them in and like
Good.
sit down with them and go line to line,
Good,
and
thank you.
work on it.
okay.
Is there anything else, ladies, you guys have for me?
No, thanks, Michelle.
Alright.
Jessica?
No, one quick clarification on using in rotating the board clerk role and using the board clerk email address, can you ask your staff members to please sign their name if they send a communication from that general email, so we know who sent it?
We've had I've got a call into Solutions this afternoon, and, we need to kind of reconfigure these meetings, so we'll be sending out probably new meetings, but yes. Is there an example where it created an issue for you?
Well, there was a very unprofessional and rude email sent that we don't know who sent it a few weeks ago. But just for point of clarification, if somebody sends an email, we don't know who to inquire if we have a question or clarification, we don't know who sent it.
And we really shouldn't be sending emails from the BOS clerk. That's
If
just
you
for
could
a
let your staff
resetting.
know, that'd be great.
Did we all get it? I don't recall.
I don't recall getting something. But to her point, if you, just so.
Or just
people
maybe
know.
just say, Michelle, I just got this email.
Yeah.
Can I please, who just sent this?
Shouldn't have to ask, it should be, it's simple.
But if I don't know what
Sign
it happened, I think I'm trying to be very responsive
Mhm.
in correcting my staff when they maybe misstep, or even I misstep, so.
Okay, appreciate it.
Alright, thank you. Alright, I do have a question, just a quick question, I'm sorry. With the state audit report update, so they're good, they have everything they need. If they give us a timeline where we're gonna have all that stuff.
I'll be following up. Like I said, they just got the last document yesterday,
Okay.
and best of luck to us.
Okay, all right.
It's very important to me that it gets wrapped up. Just know that that's very important.
Okay.
It's like I need to move on with my life.
Thanks for getting so
We all
much
do.
done in a
Yes.
short time.
And you've already let the Mullen and Jenkins know?
We had a nice conversation last week.
Good, so they know we're kinda, and did we
Mhm.
get the extension from the state auditor?
We did, reported on that last time.
Great, thank you.
You bet.
Okay, Mike.
You got pictures in Lee?
Yeah,
Beautiful, beautiful.
yeah,
pictures.
we'll see.
Just made, I'm sorry, I need to receive a response from Solutions, just checking to see if we can get this corrected, it's not being, hold on a second.
I would think they just collected you guys.
I just have a ticket number.
You have the link you can forward for now? You just, yeah, you can forward it via
Yeah,
email.
but
Okay.
Cause I can call in then.
So do we need to call into that?
Yeah, I just need to remember to call.
While we're waiting, can I ask a question? If
Here for you.
a road is, it's called a lane, but it only goes to one home, why isn't that a driveway?
It's just the team's link, I guess, as she's saying, is the one.
Well, that doesn't help the calling.
I'll address it. Why don't I address it?
So,
Is that-
I'm sorry, we need to keep
No,
moving on. So
no,
why don't you go ahead and do your presentation?
It's quick.
All right.
If there's, at the end, if you wanna ask that, if that's
I'll wait,
acceptable,
go.
I'll address
I
what I
shouldn't
know
have
about that,
I shouldn't have.
and we'll keep things going.
Okay.
All right. First of all, my name is Mike Hackett. I'm the Madison County Secondary Roads Engineer. Thank you, board members, for getting me here to speak, and it's a good day today. It really is. I had some travels over the weekend and got to some warmer states, and as I was thinking about some of this, we've kind of been spoiled a little bit with our weather, and then all of a sudden it comes back again. And I will get to a couple things at the end, and I'll make this just as quick as I possibly can. Board members, we have resolutions A, B, C, and D for you today. A lot of this is we'll see more of this ramping up into summer. The first resolution is we temporarily had to close a road in order to replace the damaged handrail. That work has been completed. The other one, resolution B, is a work agreement to remove an existing driveway in preparation for an upcoming bridge replacement project on Bevington Park Road. And we'll get a little bit of that into the end of that at the end. And then resolution C and D, they could be considered together if you wish, but those are hires for motor grader operator and a working foreman and a drainage crew position. Just a side note on staffing. We still have 4 openings, 2 equipment operators, a sign foreman, and an assistant engineer. We're in the processes of those. I believe a couple of those job openings are still open. If you know of anybody, get online, go to our website, fill out an application. We would love to see that. All right, construction projects. This is the $1 million question. Get a lot of phone calls, especially when it got nice. And I don't blame them a bit, because it's a long ways around and I'm tired of driving. Yeah, in the picture road. Again, optimistic April. The reason we couldn't kind of get started on that, even though it was so nice, is our specifications for earth moving doesn't allow frozen material. Frozen earth does not make good roads. You may be able to pile it up, but once it kind of goes through the process, it doesn't compact, and then we would be seeing, maybe some slope failures or some things. So as the specifications with the plans and part of the contract, there's many things on there that help control environmental things like winter. But we are in contact with them, bug them about every day, asking when they're gonna get in the schedule, and they kind of tell me the same thing. Gotta get through winter. Once we get winter, get it open. So just get that out there. Cummings Road, kind of the same thing. We need to come back, finish paint lines, which I'm gonna get to that in a second. General road conditions. Again, we kinda got shocked. What's that white stuff? Where did that come from? It's been very nice to have a, how do I say, an open winter and not have to deal with road conditions, but, we had a little weather over the weekend, and, timing wasn't the best on it. Some of the more traveled roads, get a little packed down before we can get out there. A lot has to do with just, it's secondary roads, it's not a primary system. We have an ordinance, we remove snow from 6 a.m. in the morning, 5 a.m. in the morning till 6 o'clock at night, and then repeat until that's processed. That's an ordinance. If you're interested in that, you can contact me. It's also on the website. Read on how that gets done. Then I'm gonna move right to a picture up there. That happens to be, I wanna thank ICAP and Mitch, wherever Mitch is, if he's here. This is part of this $1,000 grant, and we took some kind of low-tech photo to analyze our road system. And actually, we bought 4 cameras. That's from this morning, a picture of the road conditions. That allows us to kind of see our roads. Been doing this a while. Some of my staff's been doing this a while. But in order to have a snow removal day, it starts about 11:30. You've got to drive the 110 miles of road system. There's one person who does that throughout the middle of the night, and then you have to make a decision on whether or not you're going to try to get mobilized forces to come in and go to work. Most of them got to make that call around 3 o'clock to get people here. Hopefully we get our equipment started and get going on the road by 5. So there's a lot that has to go in on the background. And over the years, trucks get spun off the road because of ice conditions. I've had it in the middle of the night. I've hit deer. Some of my staff have hit deer because you're out checking the roads. So we have 4 of these camera systems. This is this morning. Can you go to the next photo, please? Yeah.
Are
Sorry,
they
I'm
in
getting
the
like
trucks?
8,000.
No, they're strategically located. So this is what happens. We get a good, real, live demand photo of what our road conditions look like. And that's not too good. We know it's going bad. And so where these are located, they're in the 4 corners of the county. And it's just a picture of that. Like I say, under $1,000 for that grant that we have. There is a fee to it, but it's well worth the investment into the fee to have done yearly because of the things that can happen when you send somebody out to drive around in the middle of the night. So once again, I really appreciate the opportunity to get that grant, put those up. So we're using them. Now, next photo, please. That's it. Yeah, next photo. Whoop, that's the first one. Yeah, so that kind of sees what's going on. That lets us get eyes on stuff. So.
And because the weather can be different from one corner to the
Yeah,
other.
and this storm was like that. The northern part of this county saw a little heavier moisture up front and actually a little more snow. The southern, not as much moisture, believe it or not, or the conditions were just a little different, a little less snow. So that's another thing when we are driving our 110 miles of paved system. It's impossible to get all over the rock system, but to try to say, okay, this corner got 2 inches, maybe we don't need to mobilize the forces here today as soon as we would the other one. So, yeah, no, this is a great thing. I appreciate that, to be able to get that up there. And then just kind of to circle back around to one of those work agreements, we're continuing, and I will hopefully get this thing. It just takes time. Buying right away takes time. And we are working on the 2 Bevington projects. I know I say that every time, but it just takes a little time to go through that process. Hopefully we will bring those contracts and easements to you soon so we can get those in the letting and get those done. I'm taking too much time. Do you want me to address your question that you had?
Yes.
Yes.
If you have a long lane and it goes to one house, why is that called a road or lane? Why is it not a driveway?
Good question, Diane. I was around when they did the 911 rule addressing system, and there are a few unicorns out there that are left that are actually a public road that looks like a driveway. And we were left with those many, many years ago. There is a vacation process, but we kinda went through that before, not always popular to do. So if you see a lane, most of those, unless there is an error, are an open public road. If you see court, they're private, so.
There's one over by me that goes,
Yeah.
it used to be a through road, it
Yep.
did go all the way through, it hasn't since probably the fifties.
Right. So again, those are decisions that happen through time where, you know, they vacated portions of the road, and maybe some of the agreements were to keep that open. It's kind of what we're left with, some of that. And, yeah, that's where a lot of that comes from.
But if it's considered private, then it would be designated as court?
Yes, the 911 system is, anything that's private is a court.
Okay.
Yep. The other ones are, believe it or not, there is this kind of a system. Lane kind of means it's a dead end. Avenues go through,
Yeah,
streets go through.
okay, and, how did the handrail get damaged? Do you know? Oh,
Not 100%,
okay, just curious.
or not, yeah.
All right, we'll leave it.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yep. Thank you, everyone.
All right, Mitch, you are up.
Good.
Hello, everybody. Ms. Johnson, Emergency Manager here from Madison County. I got up and spoke at one of the last meetings and was given a quick update on where we are, working hand in hand with Jess and working with Kelly, and then also Kylee upstairs, trying to form a steering committee to get us going back in the right direction. We're gonna have a good presentation later today by Scott Smith and Dean from IMCWA, who they have a program that's going to allow us to, it's gonna teach us how to get back on the right track. We are one of the first people they've had that's actually volunteering to do this instead of being forced to do this.
First.
What?
The
First, yes. And, I mean, just something that we owe our employees. You know, I feel everybody deserves to know that they're gonna go home as safe as they came into work. And we've had a few cracks and a few slips, and this is gonna be a way for us to be able to get back online, and I'll let them give their presentation here in a little bit. We're still doing our monthly meetings. We're gonna have one here coming up, and then we're gonna start, you know, moving forward with the process. I've reached out to State Patrol, with April being distracted driving. I wanna bring in some training that we can have for our employees, especially with it being more important right now. Everybody's distracted by their cell phones, and so gonna try to work with them, find out how to run a better committee. So that's about all I got, unless you guys have any questions at the moment or anything.
Thank you again for you
Yeah,
guys
thanks,
doing
Mitch.
that.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Okay. Ryan, you are up for Madison County Development Group's presentation.
I expected Mitch to talk about it, so.
Thank you.
Of course. Where's the left? So, Ryan Marquardt, Madison County Development Group. So just to give you a quick update on some stuff, we have the strategic plan at the top of that list that we're working on. We got that window pushed back on the survey till March 1st. So we are continuing to distribute that at some smaller communities and some businesses. We're trying to get that strategic plan survey to help guide that process for our organization. That there'll be the public meetings then at the end of March, there'll be the committee meeting at the end of March, which will extend an invite for you too. You are welcome to come to. You don't have to come to it. We'll also have one in May as well, just to kind of help disseminate that information and kind of refine it into our strategic plan. So we did have a very good conversation with the Des Moines Partnership here in the last week, where they're going to help us with some of our lowest listings. So they're going to assist us with Earlham Industrial Rail Site and the site that we are currently own in Winterset. They're gonna help us get those listed. That site, lowest is kind of the industry standard for commercial sites or industrial sites. It's really good at scraping real estate listings, but when you're making one from scratch, we figured we might as well have the professionals help us do that, so. We've also had some other good conversations. We'll just kind of bounce around on like on the Earlham Rail site, we've got Iowa Interstate Railroad is interested in that, and so we continue to kind of look at the possibilities there. Getting it into Lois will then allow us, Iowa Interstate wants to then put them in there and kind of rank all their sites along the rail line. And that'll allow us to kind of figure out what our deficiencies are by kind of comparing them to the other sites that they
Would
have.
that take a lot of, what does it take? A lot of electricity and water, or?
Oh, no, just getting it into the, all we're trying to do at this point is getting it into the listing, and then they're going to rank them, and then we're gonna get feedback in terms of what we need. And usually for those types of sites, like if you're trying to market them, you don't necessarily have to have the services, but you need to have a plan to get the services there, or a timeline in which you can provide certain levels of service, so nothing is required as of today. It's mostly, we have a plan to move forward, what does that plan look like, so that if somebody's looking at that site, they have a reasonable expectation of what it would cost, or what the time frame is for their build out, so.
It increases the chances of someone picking the site,
Yeah.
because you basically just hand in a packet saying, this is what we have, this is what we can offer, estimates of what it could cost.
We try to answer as many of their questions up
Yeah.
front, so that they, so they have more certainty when they approach it for
Well, I
purchase.
understand that, I just,
Yeah.
the long term is how much,
Well, I mean,
what it uses.
well, like the RF, we just got an RFP on that site, which I think two of you forwarded to me. Yeah, and that one has quite a bit of water requirements on it, so that's something we're kind of evaluating right now. It also has wastewater flow, and
Yes.
that's something that's more, it's not as good a fit as our last one. It's kind of higher water demand, higher wastewater
Right.
flow, more traffic, and so those are things we try to like minimize. No odor, which is still what we kind of desire for that type of site, but those are the types of things we look at when we get options. We'd only get, especially high quality rail sites, you probably get maybe 3 or 4 a year, so we, they don't come along often, but they're usually significant build outs. Like, I think this one, the RFP that you guys saw was about I think 100 million on the build out,
Yes.
somewhere in there, so.
And Ryan, can you just explain for the public the greenfield term?
Oh, sure,
That's a
sure.
new one
So
for
yeah,
me.
it asks for greenfield sites, and for greenfield sites are basically bare sites. So like,
Bare sites.
it is a literal greenfield, like our.
Open land.
Open
Because I
land,
saw it, I'm
essentially,
thinking, well,
yeah, it's all
greenfield,
good.
but.
Yeah, it's all good. It's just nomenclature, it's all
Okay.
good, so.
Thanks for clarifying. that.
Yep, not a problem. So, we continue to work with that site, and we're kind of unpacking that RFP. As typical with RFPs, you have 3 days to reply, so we'll put together a packet in 3 days, so. So moving on from that, we continue to have conversations with an apartment developer, kind of looking at options in Winterset. Their preferred site isn't available, so we're kind of trying to give them options that might work. We have a multi-unit business expansion that, for commercial, that we've been working with for some time, and we've had a lot of difficulty with landowners that have high opinions of their property values. So we're kind of back at looking at some additional options right now of where a location that might work. So we do have a business in town that is looking at an expansion project, and that's gonna change their footprint, so it's gonna get expensive. So part of that conversation, working with the bank there too, is is a new building maybe a better fit in this instance, or, if you're once you change a building footprint, the $100,000, $200,000 plus project typically, so that's kind of an ongoing conversation as well. We do have a new business that we're meeting with next week, so we're gonna have them, they're just forming, so we're having SBDC, Small Business Development Center out of Creston, come up, and we're hosting them, and we're just kind of working through the paperwork and making sure that they've got all their ducks in a row. It's really easy when you're starting business to get preyed upon on the internet by people who will charge you for services that are free or low cost, and so trying to avoid all that stuff to get them off to a good start and kind of give them some pointers, and kind of also route them to QuickBooks training and that kind of stuff. So that's all things that we can do with the office. So, looking at our revolving loan fund, we have 5 active loans. We did currently approve a new one, so at our last board meeting last week, so we are now waiting on documents, and once that's done, we'll get that loan buttoned up. We'll still have, after that loan, we'll still have about $65,000 in available funds in that loan pool currently. I did highlight on that sheet that the Winterset Municipal Utilities, they have a revolving loan fund pool. They opened that a year and a half ago, and so it's now been paid back to the point of about $40,000 in available funds. So that's about the point where it's available for projects, it's kind of hit a threshold. of interest, so that's kind of on our radar too, if, you know, in terms of a new resource that we have access to, so. And then looking at the community foundation stuff, we did a major website update. We got a lot of the old grants, past 7 years of grants are in there, by decreasing value and total sums. Try to go back to the very beginning. I've got that all kind of located for this big moldy old tome. So we're trying to get that eventually up there on the website as well. So we can go back to 22 years to the original grants, get those also online. But for that part too, the grant cycle is open. So the grant cycle is open until March 4th at Wednesday, I think it's Wednesday, March 4th, 4 p.m. And, you know, there's $135,000 in available pool to be put out this year. So we have a handful, a little more than a handful that we've received. I know that there's probably over a dozen to 18 left out there that are floating around that we're gonna get real hammered real fast here when they all start coming in here in the next few days. So, cause they're basically at 1 week to go now. So, well, just over a week. We got 8 days to go. So that's kind of what we have going on right now. You guys got any questions?
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank
Thank
you.
you for all your hard work on that.
No problem.
Appreciate it. Okay, Scott Smith, I am WCA, I believe you are up.
Good morning, can everybody hear me? So, appreciate the opportunity to join in this morning. With me is Dean Shady, manager of the Safety and Risk Improvement Division of your work comp pool, IMWCA. As Mitch alluded to earlier, here to talk about the county's safety program, safety culture, and how to maybe regain what you've had in the past and build a robust program so that it will continue in the future. Like so many employers, you've had staff transition over the last 5-6 years that has had an impact. Things sometimes get lost in translation. While the number of injuries that employees of Madison County has been pretty consistent in terms of numbers, the severity of some of those injuries have increased. That is now affecting the premium that Madison County is paying, and it will do so for a while. As I met with your agent, John Stancil, and Kelly, and then some of the folks on the steering committee, we seem to have hit a critical mass of folks that it's time to grab this bull by the horns and turn it around so people aren't getting hurt as seriously. As we talked about that, we've had some very good conversations, some very open conversations. One of the things that Dean suggested to me to talk about with you was our high-level risk management action program. This program was established by our Board of Trustees 4 years ago?
Yes.
4 years ago. Time flies, we get old. And quite frankly, this program was developed for those who are in significant trouble, kind of a last Hail Mary to help turn things around. And it's based on best practices that our pool of cities and counties have found to work. And the difference here is you're on the cusp of that being a mandatory type situation, but you listen to that opportunity. The program will provide me and other resources over a 2-year period in return for hopefully dedicated response and taking everything to heart to try and make some positive improvements. I would hope that based on the meetings we've had to date, that the energy on the safety committee and the steering committee of the state safety committee will continue. I think you're off to a good start. The agreement that we have in front of you, as Jessica stated, it's the first time we've done one where somebody wants to voluntarily come in before they cross that line. but we still have the same expectations. And those are laid out in the agreement. The expectations from you are clearly enumerated. Our expectations back to you is that I will do some training with key staff. I will continue to work with your safety committee and help you build that core foundation. If in a normal program, if you don't meet those milestones, we end up parting ways. In this program, we had to kind of rewrite the agreement because it's voluntarily based. But our expectation be if you don't follow through on this, then obviously that'll be taken into account down the road with renewals. But if you continue working, and I think I have high hopes, this will also factor in as we do renewals, discounts, credits, that sort of thing. Normally there's a financial impact when you enter this program because numbers are usually high. We don't have to worry about in this case. The financial impact is here already. So what I would hope again is for all the county departments, key staff and employees to kind of rally around the efforts of the safety committee. The expectations that this is for them. This is to help them get home safe at the end of every shift, just like Mitch said. If you can achieve that, if you can get back to where you've historically been for many years, the dollars will follow. Right now you're playing catch up. But our hope is that through this training, putting into place some good cornerstone elements, that you will get past this and hopefully not have to ever deal with this situation in the future. Any questions that you folks have? I know I've talked with Jessica extensively, but I figured you two might have some questions as well, so I want to make sure we try to answer those.
So, when we were notified of the increase, it came after budget time, so we were quite surprised at the increase. So going forward, how will that impact, we don't have the resolution on here today, because we had to do presentation, so it'll probably be our next meeting, but should we decide to go forward with this, what kind of impacts can we see in the premium in the next couple of years, if any, or?
So, for the coming year, none.
Okay.
And we all have to deal within the sea in which we swim timing wise. Now, we are government owned, we're a 28E, so we've tried to align things as much as we can with local government budgeting. We pull the actual, we call your mod factor number, which is the multiplier of your starting premium, right at the beginning of January. And when we met last October, November, we had a preliminary number where we knew it was going to go up this far. For the following years, again, the expectation is keep your nose to the grindstone and work on this. Many hands make light work, to use a good metaphor. Our hope is that you can dig yourself out of this hole. Plus, as some of these more severe claims drop out of that calculation, hopefully all this comes together and you'll just like you saw a significant increase, you'll probably also see significant decreases. That's gonna be based on effort.
What is the cost of the county to use you?
You don't pay anything to me, it's part of your premium. So this program was established so that the board allows us, we don't have very many of these on our radar at any one time, so that I can spend additional time. I have around, 170 members. I cover the middle third of the state. I have 2 colleagues plus Dean. So, we're busy, but this gives us permission to spend extra staff time with you folks. The program, I should mention, has been very successful since we implemented it. One refused, they didn't want to do it, so we parted ways. Another was almost done, and they gave up, parted ways. Everybody else has stuck to it.
So if we strive for compliance, most likely our rates will go down. We'll get
Yeah, I
back to
mean,
where we were. Yeah.
that's the hope. I mean, we don't want you to get lower rates because you're lucky. We want you to get lower rates because of effort. It becomes a core value of Madison County that you want your people to be safe. And
Well, this didn't happen overnight. This happened
No.
over several years
Yes,
of just unfortunately, yes, so we just felt the ramifications last year.
Yeah.
So it's gonna take several years for us to get kind of back on track and recover.
yeah. And what we're gonna help you do is I retired from Boone County many years ago. 25 years ago, we were in the same boat. And people like Dean and other people wearing blue shirts, they helped us eat the elephant one bite at a time and dig ourselves out of the hole. And, you know, for the most part, that is stuck at Boone County after even 25 years.
It's just gonna be a culture change and that's gonna take time.
Yeah. That's why the program is a 2-year program. You know, if you do a year, you get feeling like, okay, we got it under control, let's move to our next focus. And then that's usually where things break down. So we looked at doing this as a 2-year. It's like everything else, you have to create good habits. You have to build those habits into where they just become part of your culture. And then even once, you know, you do the 2 years, what we're finding is those members that are in the 3 and the 4th year, and they've really stuck with everything. We just had one county, they were paying around $160,000. They're now down to $70,000. And, you know, they're working, and, you know, we've got a number of those examples where, you know, it looks like it's a long-term thing, but like they'll tell you, once they did it, it's like, we should have been doing this. It's helped us with a lot of other communication issues, management issues. And that's why we had to structure it the way we structured it.
And if I recall, there was a very expensive claim that it's not gonna drop off this year, but I think it's 2 years. Is that your recollection?
Oh, let me see here. So, yeah, you have one claim, that will come off probably next year this time.
Yeah. So if we can prevent any further serious injuries in the meantime, 2 years, we should see some significant improvements to our premiums.
And one thing I want to interject here too. Everybody buys into this and they work hard. And if something were to happen, because of local government, we know, you know, when everybody else is running out of buildings, our people are running in. When everybody's getting off the road, our people are going out and clearing. You know, we have a lot of exposure. There's a reason a lot of insurance companies don't want to touch local government, okay? So let's say that you had something happen, and we look at the fact that you are working at this, you're giving it full effort, and the event that happened is something that after everybody looks at it and reasonably says, there's not a lot of, you know, control over this, we're gonna still stick with you, okay? I mean, a lot of places would just say, we lost too much, we're done. We're gonna stick with you if we see that effort. The other thing is, we really see effort, and why we cannot change the mod calculation, I mean, we have to follow NCCI, but for our members that are really stuck with this, we do have some discretionary credits that we can also look at to reward your effort. But, you know, one thing I wanna emphasize is, you know, we're gonna be the ones that are gonna be helping you judge the level of effort. We have some entities, they wanna sit there and say, we're trying, give us the money. Well, you're trying at 50%,
Yeah.
and we're not gonna give you money for that. We're gonna give you money at the 100% level, okay? So, you know, we want you to succeed. Madison County is a part owner of the pool. You know, if we all work together and this, you know, comes out positive, it means your people are going home safe. It means your employees are being productive rather than being injured, and you're gonna save the taxpayers a lot of money. And you're also gonna help the pool.
And I would like to just summarize, been very impressed by the steering committee. They're all very ready to go, very engaged. And I'm not gonna ask you to do anything that Dean and former colleagues asked us to do at Boone County. And I've seen the results of all those recommendations. They work because they're tried and tested. So I've been where you're at. I know it can be done. Just take some time.
Number one, thank you both. Thank you, especially Scott, for all your help, helping us to define this and lay out this foundation. Excuse me, I see that the document that was uploaded into our board packet, we have the updated copy that says that we are voluntary, but the date that it must be signed by is
Yeah.
still reflecting February 20th. Are you okay with us handwriting through that and putting today's date?
Yes.
Okay, so we won't need to do another copy then for
Yeah.
signature if we.
That's
board
just our
chooses to.
standard. We go out 10 days.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Any questions?
You stated that if we have a very bad tornado, which we've experienced, and all of our staff is running into the tragedy, which is what happens, you don't fault us for that because they're doing their jobs. Is that, am I
Correct.
understanding?
I mean, we look at, are they trying to do it as safely as they can?
Right.
But yeah, we face some unique challenges in local government that other employers don't.
Right.
And I mean, we have 80 of the 99 counties in the IMWC pool. We fully understand, you know, the challenges counties face.
I mean, we're gonna sit down with you, we're gonna really look at it. And I mean, if it's something, again, where, given the situation that, you know, the average person, you know, how would they have respond given the circumstances? But if we see, you know, where somebody just throws caution in the wind and they do stupid stuff, I mean, we're gonna, you know, that's gonna be a hard part of the discussion. Accountability is a big part of this program. And that's probably one where it makes everybody the most uneasy, because it's sometimes really hard. You know, when somebody's injured and you feel bad for them, but you know, there's times where we've got to look at, you know, what were they thinking? Why were they thinking it? Same thing with the people that supervise them. I mean, accountability goes right up the chain, and you know, we want to try to help you with all of that.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much,
both.
and we
Thank you.
appreciate
Thank
the
you.
opportunity.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, that brings us into the time for public comments. We'll go ahead and have folks come up. If you want to speak, just put your name and the town you're from. You will have 3 minutes. Whoever would like to speak, come on up to the podium.
Joel Whelchel, Winterset. Closed door meetings are fine, they're necessary. We have a concern though. Iowa Code Chapter 21, Board of Supervisors meetings must be open to the public by default. Closed sessions are only permitted for specific reasons, personal evaluations, confidential. and require a 2/3 vote in open session, prior documentation, and detailed minutes recording. Procedural steps. Meetings must begin in open session, with a motion to close approved by 2/3 of the board of all present. The specific reason for closing must be announced and recorded in the minutes. I have a concern where this board doesn't seem to want to follow state law in having these closed door sessions. Maybe you could alleviate my concerns. You're supposed to vote in front of us that you're gonna have one.
I guess I'm not sure where we have it, but you have up to 3 minutes, we'll let you finish.
Oh, I'm done. I'm just asking. That's the law, and I would hate to see fines levied against this board.
And to my knowledge, we're following it.
I've never seen any announcements about when the meetings are gonna be and the vote actually taken to close them. You're supposed to do it in open session. In front of us, you're supposed to close a meeting in front of us.
Not aware when we have it.
Well, you are now.
Okay.
Still not, because you haven't said when
All
we
right.
did that.
Anyone else wish to speak?
Hello, Steve Swanson, Winterset. See, the last folks from the safety thing, we're talking a lot about expectations. I think we should have expectations before we enter into a contract. It seems like you guys have on the agenda today to re-up Solutions' contract for IT. I'm only here today because of failed expectations, because I couldn't call in. We don't have IT, the bridge isn't working. See what else? My internet in my office was down for 5 weeks because of Solutions being unable to come and fix it. That's pretty impressive. And then, oh yeah, I'm getting shorted in my paycheck. Another Solutions product. This is all very positive. I think these are pretty basic expectations when you go to work somewhere, that you're gonna get paid what you're told you're gonna get paid. Your equipment should work and it should be upstanding. But of course, we're not gonna have an annual review of Solutions thing. We're just gonna go ahead and re-up the contract. I remember when we were talking about going to Solutions for IT, it was, we'll try it for a year. We'll look at everyone's complaints, we'll discuss it, and we'll determine which way to go. And now here we are, not listening to anyone's complaints. We're just gonna go ahead and plow back into a contract with Solutions. Solutions, which is IT, which if I'm not mistaken, IT is under the auditor's office. January 5th, 2026, there was a meeting, a closed session meeting in which Heather Stancil and Jess Hobbs both said they had a conflict with the auditor's office and with the entire office and with the auditor herself. I'm not entirely certain how those two people can vote on anything to do with IT when they have a conflict with the person who's the head of the IT department. That's yet another issue that we have here. There's the most open and transparent people in government, as they ran on, are having a real hard problem being open and or transparent with anything except for their misrepresentations and fraud. So, thank you.
All
Hey,
right,
Steve, could you send the documentation regarding that 5-week lag and the issues you had with, Solutions, please?
I don't think it's your time to talk, Jess, so I'm just not gonna answer any questions from you. There's public
Great,
comment.
Great, I'll send
Thank
you it in writing.
Oh, that's fine, I don't really give a shit. Oh, don't walk in on people in the bathroom, Jess.
Huh?
Okay. Kylie, did you have something?
God, this is just coming from my heart. What happened to the good prayers? Because I'm gonna say that these prayers lately seem condemning and honestly put such a negative to the room that I feel is not needed. So again, what happened to the good prayers? What happened to the prayers for thanking God for the day that we have been blessed with, for the air in our lungs, for our coworkers, for the beautiful county we live in? Do you know that it's been a year? A year. The end of January. The end of January. So now we're almost a year and a month since we've been on the news. The news. I understand. I get it that we all have different opinions and there's so much rumors and whatever else is going on, and honestly, I don't know everything. And I'm not gonna pretend like I do. But when is it gonna stop? I mean, when are we gonna stop? Like, I mean, did you guys listen to the prayer this morning? Like, when are we gonna get back to Miss Osborne? Like, I know that things aren't perfect, and I don't live in a perfect world, but like, when are we gonna start being kind to each other? When are we gonna stop yelling at each other? It has been a year. Life has been miserable for a year plus. People are miserable. We're miserable here. I just don't get it. I don't understand.
Anyone else? Okay.
Just a follow-up regarding the IT resolution. I didn't talk about it in my report because I don't agree with it being on there. As I had shared with Supervisor Stancil, we're not ready for that yet. I really want to do a cost-benefit analysis as I thought we were going to be able to do. And to Steve's point, I did send out an email to all of the department heads and the participants in our IT solutions. I also sent a request on February 12th to Actual Solutions, just for how much time have you spent? Have we gone over? Just things that would really allow us to do a full evaluation.
Like a ticket report too.
That would be it.
Okay.
And that's what I shared with you, I think it was Thursday. And you directed me to put it on there because it was your call. So I just really want everyone to know that I did not just put that on there without pause. I was directed and I still disagree. We're not ready for these contracts to be
So it
signed.
should be tabled.
Well, it's.
I'm just telling you what I said and how I feel.
Anyone else?
I would like the minutes to reflect, I agree with Kylee. I think the last three prayers have been hurtful, and they're hurtful to.
Public comment.
Okay. So it's public comment.
I just want.
Anyone else wish to public comment? Otherwise, we'll move on to the resolutions. Okay. All right, so the first one is the solutions resolution. The reason why it was put on here is because they sent us the annual renewal. As normal process, whenever we get annual renewals, they're normally put on the agenda unless, to talk about. So in the case of solutions, we can't talk to each other outside of a meeting, so that's why it's on here. I did contact Solutions and ask for a ticket report because I've had a couple people express concern. I also directly asked them about the issue for the outage with Steve. What I don't know if this was asked or requested, but the reason why there was an outage is because for whatever reason, when they ran Ethernet cable, whenever they added things, instead of running a new run, they spliced it, which is completely wrong way.
It's cheaper.
It's wrong.
I know, but
It's wrong. So it leads to outages. Not only that, was the Ethernet was not even run in a conduit, nor was it run on an appropriate cable run. It was put on the floor for people to walk on and trip on. So not only was that a safety hazard, it causes damage.
Who's they? Who ran that?
Previous folks who
Okay.
did IT, I'm assuming, I don't know. But either way, it was not done properly, so it was inappropriate, so it was only a matter of time. My concern though, and I asked Solutions on this, is if this is the way they did for one cable, I'm concerned they may have done it that way for years with other cables. So we may be seeing other problems with the Ethernet cable going forward. Doing a complete rerun is very, very expensive. You're talking 6 figures. So obviously that's not something we can afford. So this is gonna be something we'll probably have to deal with in the future, if splices, as it fails. So it is unfortunate, it was not put in properly, but here we are. And then regarding the report I got from the tickets, most of them are resolved fairly quickly. Some had some lingering issues. Now, to Michelle's point, if we do have an issue with a splice coming up, it's always best to have someone on site. So I suggested to her that we consider contracting with someone who on an on-call basis, so if her office is busy or whoever's busy.
You didn't say that to me.
In the email, I suggested it. I suggested doing an on-call. So, for instance, Summit Solution provides support for Winterset schools on an on-call basis for that particular reason. They're also the ones that did the ROI between Johnson and Digital Watch Guard, I think you said. So, I'm not saying we use them, I'm just using it as an example. I think that's a good idea. So if Solutions needs hands-on folks with IT, I don't know if it's appropriate for us to rely on our custodial staff for that. It should probably be someone who has a little bit of knowledge on that. So that's something we can consider going forward for something like that, to where something fails and we have it on site. So the reason why it's on here is because I'm not opposed to going out to bid for something like this, but a fully managed service is not the same as IT support. It took me months to get a full inventory of our telecom. It was not maintained at all. That's why we're getting double billed for telecom services. That's why, and I found this out recently, is when we put in the fiber node, the TLS node in public health, Veteran Services was not transitioned over to that. So they're still running off of internet, higher latency, more problems. They should have been moved to the fiber immediately. That was not done. So those one of the things I did not tell them to go do that because I wanted to talk to the board about it first. But if we move that to that node, it'll decrease its latency for Veterans Affairs, and then we could potentially reduce the services, or we can leave them where we're at, disconnect the node now, and then just be done with it. It's up to you guys. But that's the kind of stuff that I'm concerned that we're going to find these things as they go on, and to build an RFP, we would have to build the actual inventory of network, inventory of IPs, inventory of equipment. We don't have that right now. So what we don't want is, even if we had it, an RFP would probably be 30 to 60 days. And then there'd be anywhere from normal, my experience in the in the private sector is 6 months to transition. So now we're going into next fiscal year. So my recommendation is, and we could table this if the board decides, but to consider an RFP, but take the time necessary to build that inventory so our scope of work is accurate, so we know exactly what we're putting out there to bid, so they can make responsible bids. And then we'll actually know if we have a good deal or not. So in the meantime though, to address the concern that Michelle brought up, is I would like the board to consider contracting an IT person for the cases where if there is an outage, they can be on site fairly quickly.
Is that gonna add to the bottom line then, the cost?
It would add, but only as an on-call basis. So in the case with Steve, that he or she could have come here and provided support. Oh, there's a cut cable, we need to run your cable. We wouldn't have to wait until Solutions came out. Now, what the information I got Solutions is that they were out, it did not take 5 weeks. Now, it could have been a problem with the splice cable going in and out, because what happens is when one of the wireless access points fail, in this case it failed because the Ethernet cable failed, it automatically goes to the next wireless access point. Well, that next one was on the next floor, and our courthouse is stone, so it kept trying, and whenever something keeps trying, it increases the latency, so it feels like an outage. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, So that's not the best way to do it. But they got it back up, but in your case, if we had somebody that we could have called and said, hey, can you come out and figure it out? We probably could have figured that out within 24 hours. So, I think there's value there. And, it's something the board can consider, obviously not today, it's not on the agenda. But this is why I put it on there, is because I don't think we're gonna be able to find somebody between now and June 30th and transition our entire network over to a new managed service.
When this was explored last year, it was my understanding there's basically 2 entities we could work with. At
Okay,
the county level,
okay,
let's
so
talk through that.
So you're thinking of the actual license code. This is the actual software that the auditor's office uses, the treasurer's office
Okay.
uses, the recorder's office uses. That's a completely separate thing. This is the managed services, so there's 2 contracts on this resolution. The license code agreement, which is what the systems our elected officials use. And then the other one is the managed services agreement, which is the actual IT network that keeps everybody working. So, those are 2 separate contracts.
And we can use anybody for that.
Yes, we can use anybody for that. With the license agreements for our elected officials, there's only 2. There's Tyler and Solutions, so we have no choice there.
License agreement there,
Right.
okay.
So, but for the IT managed services, we can put that portion out to bid if we wish. And we could put together an RFP, but we can't do an RFP until we have an actual accurate assessment of our network, and we do not have that.
I thought that's what the goal was this year, to get that with
Yeah.
Solutions. I guess I must have missed,
It-
I thought that was supposed to happen.
Well.
Cause that was what we kinda dinged our previous IT with not maintaining.
We can certainly ask for that, yes.
Well, we should.
But I
thought
mean,
we
is there a
already
reason
did.
that they're responding to you and not to me then?
I sent them questions.
I asked the questions too.
Yeah, so if you wanna send them another email, copy me, ask for an inventory, we can do that. It's not something I think we should discuss and share with the public, because it's a
Agreed.
security issue. But it took me a long time to build the carrier one, and I don't, to be honest with you, I have no idea what we have for an inventory on the network side. Because that's something that should have been maintained and provided when the transition to Solutions happened last
And I thought
year.
that was the reason to go with Solutions and outsourcing IT, was to have that brought current this year.
That was one of the reasons that is what we wanted. The reasons why we outsourced was to save money. That was the main reason, was to save money. So, and that's what we're looking on doing, is saving money, lowering costs to taxpayers. That's what we like to do. So, so it's entirely up to the board. If you wanna percolate on this for a little bit, we can certainly table it. But at this point, I don't see how that's beneficial. But if we do decide to move forward with it, I do think there's value going out to an RFP, and getting this work done. So even if we don't use a different person, we should know what we have. We should know what we have, and we don't.
So how about if we table this and we let the auditor do a cost benefit analysis, and then we write up an RFP, and then we'll go from there?
The RFP is the cost benefit analysis.
All right, let's
So-
look into this more and let's get a better inventory, so let's table this for now.
So what do you think?
That's fine, but, further points of clarification, so, any, references I've had to, IT issues, Solutions has remedied right away. Is there any flexibility with those monthly site visits? So for example, if the county attorney's office has an issue where they need on-site people, is there any flexibility to move that Solutions visit up?
Well, I know we've done it for the auditor's office before, cause when we did the move, I know we did that. So I don't know where, I know you didn't you kinda rob from a future month for that? So
No,
we're
we
kinda-
didn't have to.
Okay, okay.
Just moved the time
They
to
sent-
accommodate?
They sent somebody, but he was afraid to go up into the paddock, so they then delayed it 2 more weeks to send someone to go.
Oh, 'cause he didn't wanna climb.
And I just do wanna, somebody said something, the RFP is, the cost benefit analysis is what we're doing here is identifying what services are being provided versus what services were not provided. That's what I look, so an RFP is separate from a cost benefit analysis. It could be included in it, but I don't think they're the same thing.
So when you're doing that, because I don't know if you remember this, but back when we did have an on-site person, Solutions also did our managed services.
Correct.
So basically, our IT person, that was basically the front-facing person for on-site. The concern I have is a lot of the problems that I'm finding should have been done by that person, and they weren't. So,
May I
I wanna
interject?
make sure, if I can finish.
Just because I'm gonna tell you, I would like the ability to actually direct Solutions to get our inventory up to date.
Mhm.
That's
think
what
that's
needs
a-
to
I
happen
think
between
that's a good
now
idea.
and point, I don't know, in a month.
Well,
I would
that's
like to get
something-
all the equipment cataloged,
Yep.
all of the IP addresses into an Excel spreadsheet,
Mhm.
so that I can comfortably, instead of keeping it here,
Mhm.
so that I can comfortably navigate and answer questions.
Mhm. I think that's a good idea, I don't have an issue with that.
I would like that, I would like to see how they do interacting with me.
Mhm. Well, I'm assuming they are interacting with you. The questions I sent is for stuff I have, so I'm assuming each of the
It
department heads
sounds
are
like we have to
contacting.
ask for the same thing, it really does. So, again, I'll just stop and you guys need to make your decision.
Yeah. So, is there an issue renewing the license code agreement?
Yes, I wanna wait, let's just do.
Well,
the
there's two,
license-
there's
oh,
two.
the
I mean,
con- No,
we're not-
I'm okay with that.
We're not going anywhere with
Right.
visions
Our
of.
license is.
You-
I'm
yeah,
okay
I'm
with
like,
the
that would
license.
be a pain to
I'm okay
transition
with
to
the license,
Tyler.
I'm just not going, that's okay.
So, with the license code support agreement, that's the exhibit A, that's with the software that
And
the
that's
electeds use.
Okay.
So,
And that's critical right now.
Yes.
yes.
What's
So-
the deadline of when that needs to be approved?
There are none.
When does I think it expired, we'd have to look and see when we signed it last time.
It's not.
I believe it was April.
I think
It's
so
April.
too.
So,
Mhm.
yeah.
So we don't have to approve that today, but I guess what would be the reason for waiting on the license code piece of it?
No, none.
None.
Cause we're gonna need to do it, right?
Exactly. Tyler is, I don't know, 10 days, 12 months out, and there is something called the migration that is incredibly expensive.
Mhm.
And just
Very
for the
expensive.
public's benefit, Tyler is the other,
There's two
Option,
there's two
aside from
software support for
Solutions.
county software systems is Tyler and Solutions.
Mhm.
So let's just, if I can, let's break this up and we'll approve. I would make a motion to approve the license code support agreement, exhibit A, for 82,632.31. I would make a motion to approve that needs to be done.
I'll second that,
All right, and, with the tabling of the,
yes.
And we could do that, and then we will
Separately.
table the other.
I would
Yes.
remove it and bring it
Yes.
back under a
Remove it,
separate
bring it back.
resolution,
on a separate
Yes.
resolution.
to strike that out of
Right.
there.
Originally, I wanted to have two separate resolutions,
Oh,
but
you
that's
did?
okay, yeah.
Well, then
Um,
we'll bring it back.
We'll bring it back as a separate
Mhm.
one, so, okay,
So you have a
so,
motion on the table?
motion for that?
For exhibit A, not for the.
And the table, the other
correct.
one?
Yep.
Okay,
So just strike that in, yeah.
okay, so, any discussion?
No.
Okay, all in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Michelle, if you run into roadblocks with Solutions on providing that information, would you let me know?
I will. I will be annoyed about it if I enter roadblocks, because I
You
feel
shouldn't.
like I've been very open and accepting and
You
very
shouldn't.
communicative with them.
Yeah, you should.
So it makes me uncomfortable.
Mhm. So, and then, if you wish, I can send you that, trouble ticket log that I requested from them.
I have, yes,
Yeah, it's a month old, I think, but I can send that to you so you have it.
I would
So
like to see that too.
You wanna see that? Okay. So, and they can send an update too if you ask them.
Okay.
The
All right.
12th was my request. The date, the 12th was when I requested that.
The trouble ticket?
Mhm. Just,
Okay.
have we gone over, because again, in the past, we've had, oh, you've gone over, so we're gonna kinda level it up, and, I get they have.
Regarding the on-site visits or? 'Cause you
Actually,
should-
more so the solution software side.
Also, the license code agreement, so that's separate.
I
That's
got it.
completely different
I know that,
business. Okay.
but I'm saying, I wanna make sure that's not happening with the support side.
There shouldn't be any.
Agreed, and that's,
Anything in
I've just,
there.
that's why I'm.
And if you get a bill, let us know, but there shouldn't be anything in there. Okay, all right, moving on, we'll go ahead and approve, the next one is approving a public hearing for the, property tax notice. This is the maximum levy that we're required to do under Iowa code. And that hearing is gonna be March 31st at 6 p.m. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. The next resolution is approving the Madison County Auditor to submit the maximum levy amounts direction to the Board of Supervisors. The reason, I actually put this on here, the reason why is I wanted to formalize what our direction was when we were talking about this at our last budget meeting. So it's clear for her that the direction is coming from us on this, and that is to keep the amount collected the same as fiscal 26, not necessarily the levy, but the amount collected is the same as fiscal 26. And I know you had to, in order to not harm secondary roads, we had to maximize the general basic and the rural basic, and then offset it with the lowering of the supplemental levy. So that's what you talked about in your report.
I did.
So all this does is formalize that direction for her, and I thought it best to do it as a resolution. So that's why I put that on there. So I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye. Aye. All opposed?
Nay. I think you're gonna hamstring us. My vote is nay.
Motion carries. Okay, next one is approving a temporary closure of a bridge. Mike talked about this in his presentation, and a portion of the Ironwood Trail for bridge handle repair effective February 17th until further notice.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, the next one is approving a work agreement between Madison County Secondary Roads and Joseph Hitt, effective 16 February 2026. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Next one is approving L. Garrett as a full-time motor grader operator.
He said you could do these next two together.
You wanna do these two together?
Yeah, he said we could.
Okay, well,
He
let's
did?
go ahead.
He did say it, I don't think you should.
Oh, all right.
Okay, well, it'll take a few extra minutes. All right, so, do I have a motion to approve L. Garrett as a new full-time motor grader operator for secondary roads?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. The next one is approving Z Barnhouse for a full-time working foreman drainage crew, effective 2nd June 2026. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, the next one is motion approving application for use of grounds by the Iowa Quilt Museum for the airing of the quilts on.
Sorry,
Yeah.
she did not get it to me, so I
We
should have.
need to table it.
Can you please?
Sure,
sure. So moved.
I should have caught it at the beginning of the meeting, but, yeah.
Okay, no,
She just
second.
didn't get it in. Okay, we'll table it. So
Sorry,
moved to
guys.
table.
No, that's okay.
That's second.
All right, all in favor of tabling?
Aye.
Aye, all right. Next one, board member reports. I'll let one you least.
Go ahead, Diane.
No, you go.
Okay, so the decategorization board there's a lot of uncertainty there, and there's, legislation that program may no longer be funded, which is unfortunate because they do a lot of great work with providing resources to underprivileged citizens and helping them find the right program and the right fit and to find the resources. The director of that entity has done a fabulous job of managing that program, but we did just recently have a board meeting and there's uncertainty and it's not looking like it's going to be in existence soon. So they're managing that and working through that as they get more information and legislators pass legislation pertaining to that. Regarding the public health building and Veterans Affairs building, Diane, I know we talked about there's a copier over there. I contacted Infomax and they're actually gonna come out, I'm meeting with them, I think Thursday or Friday, they're gonna come out with an inventory with all of our copiers, what we have under contract, what's not under contract.
I have that. I met with them already.
Okay, well, they didn't tell me that, I didn't know that, so
Okay.
if you have information you can share. But
absolutely.
what I asked, them to do is to lay that out for us. The one at the public health building is currently under contract, they said. I don't have any specifics yet. But I think it'd be a good idea to kind of,
Shell must have one, okay.
apparently, well, we'll get more information on it. And figure it out from there. So, I did have, we did the indoor air quality testing. We should have those results soon. We completed the asbestos testing. There is none. I do have that report that I can forward. Smith Sewer is gonna be out, I think, Thursday this week to do a scope on those lines and to identify the location of those sewer lines there. So there's progress there. There was an entire pallet of bottled water at that building. I didn't know that water expires, but it does apparently. So what I did is I pulled off the expired water and I gave it to a vet clinic. And then the non-expired water I took to Azra Health and donated to them. Hopefully that's okay to do. I don't know what else we would have done with that.
I don't know either. That's left over from the
tornado.
From the tornado.
Could have had the Boy Scouts come, open it all and dump it on our plants. I mean, really.
That's true.
If it's expired, I don't know, can you use it for human, cause it's been hot and cold in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, in plastic, yeah.
I don't know.
So I donated it, but as far as I did document how much I donated, that and we have an entire cabinet full of sanitizer. No expiration on that. I think it must be a high enough percentage of alcohol in it, maybe. The question then comes, what are we gonna do with that? And I know Mitch and I have talked about it. We don't need to sit on all of this, so there's no reason why we can't donate those.
Can that be something that can be shared with the other emergency management regional group?
Yeah, and we can.
Since we're part of that now?
We can inquire, and I can find out, but my experience has been that all kinds of entities have all of this leftover sanitizer and masks, and we have a bunch of masks left over, we have a bunch of bleach. So, my experience, a lot of entities are left with a bunch of inventory, but we can sure ask and see if there'd be a need. I thought we could, donate it to the hospital.
Brady's right there. Who would take all those gobs of pallets of hand sanitizer?
That's a good question.
Oh.
We've got so much of that and that, we've got so much now that we'll probably never go through.
Yeah.
If it's in that building hot and cold, it's still okay, isn't it? Cause it's got
It'll be
alcohol.
fine, it's just alcohol based.
You're just
so,
putting it on your hand.
Yeah.
Can you think of somewhere what we could do?
I'll get a hold of HHS and see what I can find out if there's anybody that needs it.
And talk to Mitch too, because we're part of that regional EMA now,
Okay.
so they might be able to share it across the region
Yep, I'll
if they
talk to
need it.
them and get a hold of HHS and see what we can find out.
Yeah. Okay.
Just to pause, Michaela just told me the resolution for the Carver.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, yes, we gotta
Wasn't,
finish that.
it wasn't on the agenda, but we made it.
We amended
We
it.
amended it.
Yeah,
Let's
thank
do
you
that.
for
Thank you
reminding
for
us,
reminding us.
Michaela. Do we wanna pause on this and move to that, or you want me to finish my board report?
Go ahead and
Finish
finish
your
your
board
board report.
And then we'll go do that,
We'll do that.
okay.
Sorry.
So I guess my question for the board in regarding that space, it's elderly services building, my recommendation, of course, is to wait for the indoor air quality testing. And then I'll proceed with meeting with, Smith Sewer this week. But I guess my question for the board is, okay, if we get a clean bill of health with the indoor air quality, then what, do we wanna do an RFP, or do we want to, as I had started to go down the path of finding local contractors, and I have 3 contractors locally, some referred by our staff, and, that's who I originally reached out to. But we need to further I can define the scope, so they're all bidding the same thing. And that would be what I would prefer to do, so we can make sure we're using a local contractor and not bidding it out to a low bid Joe Schmo from somewhere else. But I'm open to the board's thoughts on that and how you'd like me to proceed from here.
So since we're talking about public health billing, I have an update from HHS on what their needs are. So, as I told you at our last meeting, they need to have access to the ICN for the state. So, in the courthouse, we already have an ICN node, they can easily jump on, not a problem. With the public health, with the elderly services building, that's gonna be a bigger challenge. So the installation and pulling fiber alone is gonna cost them about 30 grand, I know. And takes 60 to 90 days. So I think for HHS, the better option would be to put them in the courthouse at this point. So we can figure out, you know, the logistics later, but I think we just need to, that's my recommendation to the board.
How often are they there, HHS? How often do they need an office?
They are there about once a week.
What if we took them and the public health nurse and put them at EMS? They're only there one day a week. They
Well-
could give immunizations out at you, couldn't they?
Well, for HHS, they have to have a private office. And they have to be on the ICN.
All right, so they're in the
And
courthouse.
And
okay.
EMS does not have an ICN node there.
All right, so HHS will go in the courthouse.
So I think we're kinda stuck, and that's our decision, is putting them in the courthouse.
And then the only private office that's empty right now is the former auditor's office, correct?
And the elections office, yes.
But
So-
I'm wondering, just for future, use of that, the rest of that space, they only need the former auditor's office, right? There's a door that goes.
Right, yes. So, we can talk more about that, cause with those 3 offices, I'm wondering if we should move out and move into a smaller office and put the bigger offices for the other folks. Because we're not there all the time either. So, just a thought, we can talk about that later. But anyway, back to, HHS. So yeah, so the ICN node is, I think financially, even though technically it's not property taxpayer money, it's still taxpayer money, and I don't wanna have the state spend the money if they don't have to. So, I'm just gonna, if you guys are okay, I'll just share with them that we're gonna put them in the courthouse somewhere, and then that will be a very easy move for them. To your point on the printer, they told me that the printer in their office has not worked for several years. So,
What?
yes, so I don't know what that's about, we'll have to look into that, but their printer has not worked. And the same thing with their phone line has not worked. But they said they don't need a phone line, so we don't need to worry about that. But their printer and their phone line didn't work, so we could probably disconnect the bill for the HHS phone line, cause it's not being used.
Is that in the audit that you sent me?
Yeah, so we'll make sure when we move them to wherever they're gonna finally land, that all their stuff works. So,
Okay.
I just, since we're talking about it, I just wanted to talk about that, so I'll
Sure.
let you finish if you got anything else to say.
Okay, and then I requested from Michelle, the contracts for snow removal and lawn care that we have. I think it would behoove us to evaluate those and see if we could get some more competitive pricing on that, if it's okay with the board. And
Did you wanna put that out to bid?
I think we should.
We've done it quite a few times since I've been here.
I haven't seen the contracts yet to know where we're at in those cycles, but I think we should take a hard look at them.
6 years ago, I wanted to hire somebody. I think we'd have had the equipment paid for it, and it would have been cheaper. Hire a part-time custodian to
Can
do
you
both.
work on that, do you want a cost benefit on that and figuring out if that makes sense? Cause I'd be open to that.
And if you wanna do an RFP, we can do that too, that would be pretty
Right.
easy to do.
It's up 2 years. It's up, next
Yeah,
year?
So no point in doing anything, all right.
Well, we wanna do it now, this year, before we have to go to renewal, cause we wanna choose somebody
It'd
different.
be maybe later this year.
Yes.
Yes.
So, cause whoever you guys are doing, for budget time next year, you're gonna wanna know, make decisions at that point.
Yeah,
So put a pin in that.
for
and- Diane, did you
maybe
wanna
for
kinda-
fall to evaluate that.
Yeah, I think that might be good.
Just kind of do a forward note, okay. And then I did do the walkthrough with the custodial RFP. yesterday. Thanks for bringing that out, Supervisor Stancil, and all that information. We had a great response. My question is, I've got the vendor sign-in sheet. Where do you want me to save that and share that?
So the reason why you have the sign-in sheet is if there's questions that come up, they have to ask them in writing. And then, the auditor would hold on to that. And then when we provide the answers, it's sent out to everybody who was there, so everybody gets the same answer.
So I'll forward that to Michelle and to the board, just so you all know.
But did
Who
any,
was present?
yes,
And I indicate, and I
And they know
reaffirm to them
if
of the
they-
questions.
send it in writing,
Mhm.
okay.
Yep. And there were two, there was a potential add-on for elderly services, so I went ahead and added that to the site visit walkthrough,
Oh,
they
okay.
looked at that.
Okay.
And then there's another building for secondary roads, their sign shop, that just has an office and a restroom. But for now, I instructed them to follow the RFP, but they're aware of it, all the people who did the walkthrough. I told them it could be a potential add in the future, but let's just stick to the RFP for now, but they at least have that information or are aware of that,
Okay.
possibility to add that.
Okay.
Let me see, I think that's all I've got. I'll go ahead and send that vendor sign in to the auditor and I'll copy the board on it. Okay, thank you. Do we wanna move to that other resolution we missed, or do you wanna do your board
No, I would
reports?
ask that we,
Let's do the resolution so
Okay,
we
then.
don't forget it. Okay.
Michaela, could you please read the number of it?
Let's go with, resolution number SPVC.
Okay.
I would make a motion to approve, the resolution would take a small part of the Highway 92 to change it into George Washington Carver, that's more, yes, that would be my motion.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, motion carries, all right, it's done. We'll move on to your report, Diane.
I had an interview with the chamber yesterday. I have CCOG annual meeting and I invite all of our mayors. And that was, Ryan Marquardt was incredibly helpful. I had aging resource meeting I attended, historical preservation meeting. We had union negotiations, budgets, and I've been at the public health building, that's been very efficient. We have a lot of desks and very good stuff, better than a lot of offices have, so the offices come in, they put their names on them, I inventory them, send it to I have it all ready to send to the auditor, and then the offices come out, and secondary roads was amazing, they picked up all the heavy stuff, brought their equipment, and then delivered it to the other offices. EMS, you'll have to get with, secondary roads and they'll help you, they just couldn't on that snow day. And they'll help you get your cabinets. There's very, very little left, and I think, well, to be efficient, we just call it a tag sale. Put a tag on it, people come in, pick up the item, pull the tag off, pay for it and leave. There's just not much left
There were
in
just
there.
a few items you mentioned
Very
that,
Then some we're gonna have to
Good item.
find out what to do with public
Yeah.
health. The trailer, Mitch has worked with the state, the other offices, they could use it to haul voting equipment, it could be used for many things. I think Mitch has got the states, told Mitch, call the state and say, we could assort this if you just give us a title, and their state's like usually, okay, cause they don't wanna mess with it, so. Looks like we're gonna get to keep that, the small one, I think the sheriff and EMS want it for drones.
So you wanna
EMA.
make sure you coordinate with the Board of Health
Yeah, we
on
are.
this.
Mitch is working with
Okay,
them.
okay, cause I don't wanna, without
That's
their.
kind of his, yeah, he
Okay,
is.
okay.
And then we're gonna have to go from what to do, it's kind of, it's gotten kind of wet in there. So, and I know Indianola didn't want anything, so we're probably gonna have to figure out what to do. The records, the state will figure out, tell us what to do with them, but the rest of the stuff, I don't know. It's been hot and cold and don't know. A lot of it was COVID, and I think The
Well,
cones
that should still be temperature controlled.
in a trailer?
Oh, no, I'm sorry,
No.
I thought you were talking about the building.
No.
So the trailer, yeah.
No, they've taken everything that they need, and
Okay.
then everything else that was left in the building was marked not for human consumption. Brady was in there, human use, so we called the vet clinics, we didn't wanna haul it to the landfill and pay. So the vet clinics took the outdated stuff that humans can't use,
So what's left?
very little.
Yeah, so do we want to, did you want to, sounds like you've done tag sales before.
I think we just need to put a price on it. Some of them are old chairs and things we probably might not be able to give away, but we'll just put a tag on them. And what doesn't sell, I have found in the past, if you haul it to the curb, you've relinquished ownership legally, and they can take it.
We would just have to do a resolution on that.
And I will inventory what's left.
Okay,
And I've tried to keep everything really clean and organized so you can see so if they walk through, it's all gonna be kinda together.
Okay.
All like
All
items.
right.
There's a lot of, lots of printers, a lot of things, small printers for cars. I've inventoried it, it'll all go to the auditor for IT, so we can keep track of all that, and there's lots and lots of things in the basement. That's going to need IT stuff, that's gonna need to be disconnected and moved.
right. So, and that's something some of that stuff is ours, some of that stuff belongs to the carrier. So like all the phones from MediaCom, we don't own those are owned by MediaCom.
Okay, there's a lot of telephones out there,
Yeah,
so we
so
don't.
we'll have to evaluate, what we'll probably have to do is when we're ready to disconnect the service out there, have the carriers come out there, take their stuff, and then anything left.
We need to also, I think the auditor could do this, change that number, cause there isn't public health, cause I answer the phone all day when I'm out there.
Well,
That's been disconnected.
It had-
I mean, I'm working with, Lumen, the box numbers that we have, the ones we're paying for, they still had like Madison County Hospital under us, and so I spent last week auditing that.
So.
That's why I'm concerned about the double duty you and I are doing.
Yeah,
It's
that's-
really the infomax should fall under me, as far as that goes.
I was just out there and saw that copier there, and I wanted to find out more, so I made a call, so.
Are you
I-
comfortable canceling your meeting on Friday then, since I'm already working on it?
Sure,
Thank you.
yeah, if
Appreciate it.
you're leading it, that'd be great.
So, just so you know, Lumen and CenturyLink are the same entity.
I know they are.
So, are you saying that there's stuff out there that
I'm
has
saying
hospital
that,
numbers?
that we may be paying for phone services all over with our name on it,
Cause all,
to the tune of about 500. Again, I'm
Yeah.
auditing, okay?
yeah, cause the spreadsheet I provided to you is based on all the bills that we've paid.
But I'm talking the analog lines that we still exist.
That would still be one of those bills,
Yeah.
yeah, so
So
if
they
there's-
called last week.
I'm sorry,
They called last week.
CenturyLink did,
Lu-
or Lumen did?
Lumen.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, so yeah, cause I've been asking him a bunch of questions, trying to figure out all that stuff. So yeah, it should be, those numbers should be on those bills. If you're
Good.
finding numbers that are not on that inventory, then that's something we need to track down.
Gotcha.
So, okay, all right, so I'm sorry, Diane, are you done?
Yeah, no, it's
Okay.
time to move on.
All right, so, for me, for reports, we had a meeting in Madison County, Development Group, so a lot of the stuff that Ryan shared, I, already had the pleasure of hearing already. MPO meeting, Workman's, Central Iowa Workforce Development meeting, we had a handbook meeting, I had some calls with Solutions regarding tickets, inventory of tickets. We also had the courthouse inspectors out here with, our architect, OPN. OPN did agree that there's some things that will need to be replaced, specifically all the cement sidewalks. So what they're happening is they're all flaking. I don't know if you guys have the pleasure of going walking those sidewalks, if there's actual pieces of the sidewalk flaking off.
Yeah.
So, yes, so the inspectors said they'll put some recommendations on what to replace it with. They recommended using the DOT level quality of, cement rather than what was used. So I guess they're gonna have more conversations on that. They focused a lot on the ramp, so we'll probably hear more about that. So at this point, I don't know what the next step is, we're just kinda waiting for OPN and Bright Homes to get back to us. I've already engaged with Allers and Cooney, letting them know this is where we're at. So, we did that, and then I already gave the update regarding the outage, that our county attorney, suffered with. So if you want, I can send you, the board and Michelle, that breakdown of regarding that outage as well, so,
Yeah, that'd be good.
yes. Okay, so that's my update. So the next one, we'll move on to old business, sale of the public health building. Was there anything else that anyone wanted to talk about regarding that?
I think if we sell it, we could write, I think we can write in the contract that it's sold to an entity that pays taxes. We could write that in the contract, cause.
We can't, I don't think we can do that.
Well, why not? Can
It's
you
a,
do
it's a,
that?
it's an auction. I don't think we can do
Yeah,
that.
we can't say who could bid on it or
We
not,
can't
can we?
discriminate against people.
But then we'll get.
You wanna discriminate against a nonprofit?
Well, yeah, kinda, cause we get no
Potentially.
tax, nothing.
Oh, no, that's, I don't think we can do that.
Maybe we could, yeah, we could get,
We can pray that, someone who pays taxes buys it, but I don't think we can legally, discriminate against anybody.
we could find out legally if we could do that, but I can't see us being able to do that.
I just don't think we should sell it.
Oh, I know.
Let's move on.
But, anything else, did you have anything else to add on that?
I guess, no, as
Okay.
far as just, you know, what we wanna do on, you know, timing and the, you know, the specifics of that, and if we wanna do RFP or just, you know, quotes for the.
Are you guys
for
okay
elderly
moving,
services.
are you guys okay moving, Veterans Affairs traffic to the node, so it reduces their latency?
Mhm.
Since it's there,
Mhm.
I mean, cause we don't know when they're gonna move, we might as well improve their connectivity.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll let Solutions know that,
Do
and
you
then.
have trouble with your computer? Are you
I'm
okay?
really having trouble with my fax machine right now. I don't have a fax machine. I was using public health, but I went back there the other day to fax and it was shut off, so I was like, shoot.
Oh, they've shut
So
it
I don't think, I'm not aware of us shutting down any services yet, but,
It hasn't worked for a long time, so.
okay, well,
I
good to
just use
know.
public health as fax machine every time.
Okay, well, good to know, we'll have to look into that. Okay, so if you guys are okay, we make sure we move, might as well put them on fiber,
Mhm.
you'll see an improvement. So,
Will they do that at their next visit?
that's something they can do remotely, they just change the traffic in the server. Okay, so, we'll move on to courthouse cameras discussion, I think we discussed this a little bit earlier, I don't know if there's anything else to add, basically, the direction is, we want a breakdown of all the costs, and then we can do a comparison, between, the server that Johnson, cause what we got from Johnson was just the total, it didn't break down the actual individual licensure costs per year,
And that was my clause, I did get a breakdown, but I didn't know what the impact would be for the annual cost, cause right now it's very affordable. But if you add on a total of 4, what's that look like?
Correct, cause there'd be 4 new licenses that we have to add on.
Yep.
So I think that's what we wanna compare is what the actual initial CapEx is, and then the operational annual cost. And then we can compare it to an entity, a server, like the Digital Watch Guard, it's just a one-time license purchase and then you're done. So it may cost a little bit upfront, but
Well,
overall.
I think you'll note that the very first one, the one that you guys tabled, that was a one-time license with did not have that was a one-time license as well.
Right, but you would still have, when you add new, for those particular cameras, it's an annual renewal for licensure.
The server, no, though.
No, not the server, I'm saying the actual individual cameras have their own licenses that you have to purchase.
And that's what
So-
I'd like to understand more and have more data regarding those 2 different systems and what that looks like, and so we're future-proofing ourselves a little bit and making sure we're making the right choice on who we're landing with.
And it's not just about the money, it's about, I want our first responders to be able to do one login, because in times of emergency, they're not gonna have the luxury, they may not have the luxury to log in again. And then 2, if there's an issue, if something goes down, it fails over to another server. Which again, an emergency, that could be critical, so I'd like to be able to review that. Okay, anything else on the cameras? Okay, New business, board meeting rules and procedures. I think you wanted this.
I
on?
asked to add this, just for some clarity, I think, we probably should have reviewed this in January when we did our organizational meeting. Wondering if there's, just some clarity, I think, for the public. Typically, public comment isn't a dialogue, between us. It stipulates in the board policy now that citizens address the board as a whole and not individuals. But I just kinda wanted to walk through what that decorum looks like, if there's any changes that we need to make to this board policy. I know we did have someone removed from our meeting, 2 weeks ago, not at the request of the board. I know in the past, there's been a request by the board for the sheriff to remove somebody and he did not. So I kinda just wanted to talk through that with the board of what should look like, see if there's any changes that we need to make that, and also to help the public to understand. I know, for example, at the city council meetings, there's no dialogue, there's no back and forth. I've been at these meetings before where the mayor will make sure no one comments aside from him. So I guess if the citizens, they're demanding some responses during public comment, but our board policy is indicating that we should not. So what say you, ladies?
Don't respond.
Well, I think you might
Don't
wanna
say anything.
explain the
I'm
difference to
speaking-
folks
Yeah.
between citizens' request to be heard.
Yeah.
I think it's just an education thing.
So there is a difference. Public comment is up to 3 minutes, but the citizen's request to be heard, if you want more time, you have up to 10 minutes if you request in advance, to talk. But I would like to know the board's thoughts on this. If there's something we need to change or reiterate or reaffirm of how we're conducting ourselves, during our, especially public comment session and interruptions during the meeting specifically, I guess. Any thoughts?
I think the treasurer said it very well. We're nasty to each other. This whole county's nasty. Facebook, people say horrible, nasty things. I'm glad I don't read it and I wish people wouldn't send it to me. It's terrible.
I agree.
And
it
the
is terrible.
respect
Yeah.
is terrible. We can't yell at them. When they say something and they're leaving, we can't yell at them from this point either.
Well, I don't think we are.
Yeah, you do.
Yes, you do. I don't think we are.
Yes, you
I don't
do.
think we are yelling. Excuse me.
So-
You're out
Yes,
of
you
order.
do.
You're out of order. You're out of order.
You just lied.
You are out of order. So back to the conversation, I think that, I think we need, at least the year I've been on the board, there was no dialogue back and forth unless it was initiated either by a board member, or it was critical enough to where they felt, okay,
The only
it's on the
time-
agenda, we'll talk about it later, that type of thing. And the reason why, this is how Phil explained it to me, is because we have to be careful that we're not talking about things that are not on the agenda. So, that's why the dialogue, is we have to be very cautious about that. So the purpose of public comment is so the folks can talk to us and share their feelings, share their thoughts and everything like that. And then we can decide, hey, that's a good point, let's add it on the agenda, future board meeting, or something like that, or something they can talk to individually. But the way Phil explained to me when I first came on was that we wanna be careful that we're not talking about things that are not on the agenda. So.
And that makes sense to me. Where I struggle is when, during public comment, somebody may be stating misstatements, inaccuracies, downright lies, and then it just hangs out there, and when do we address it? So what I've been trying to do is make a note if it's important enough or a big enough issue, I try to make a note and then address it at my board report time, but, I guess I wanna make sure we were clear, as a board, how we were approaching this, and
But
for the community.
when you do respond at your board report time, then they cannot respond, because in your.
But this is not a dialogue. Sometimes, and correct me if I'm wrong, when I've heard you do that, it's usually to clarify the record. And then, as you said earlier, things debate Facebook, and the public is free to do that. But, if someone makes a false statement or they don't understand something, I think there's value in trying to explain it, in some respects, but we have to be very cautious that we're not talking about things that are not on the agenda. Which
the public is free to comment on whatever they want during their time, it doesn't have to be on the agenda, just to
Absolutely.
clarify that, right?
No, you told them it couldn't, they could only talk about things on
No,
the agenda.
that's in a special meeting, Diane, you're
That's-
confusing the two.
Yeah, for
There's a
regular
special,
board
for a
meeting.
regular board meeting during public
Okay,
comments,
excuse me.
yes, they can talk about it. On a special meeting where we just have a few resolutions, they can talk about and address whatever we're voting on at that particular point. So there's two separate things here, so we wanna be careful about that. I think we should do our best to follow board policy. And unless the board wants to entertain a change to policy, which we can certainly have a work session to talk that through. But this has been the policy for as long as I've been on the board.
Treat people with dignity and respect, and they usually treat you that way back.
I would agree with that, that's unfortunately,
If
that's
you're
not
nice to
always the
them, they're
case.
nice to you. I don't know, people aren't mean to me.
Anyways,
Stop.
did you have anything else you wanted to talk about,
No,
or did you wanna
just,
put something on?
You know,
a
I
meeting to talk
don't
about it?
foresee any changes. I think it's good for us just to refresh our memories on what this looks like, and I'll try my darndest not to reply when somebody's defaming me or others during their public comment, and then I'll, address it at a later time.
So, Michelle, do we have the rules and procedures on?
We do,
We do,
and I was just
okay.
gonna offer for Jess, would you like me as a part of my report in 2 weeks, just to kind of remind people as the board clerk, just, here are the things that when you say this to the board, they're not gonna respond because that's not what public comment is about.
I have done that.
I
quite
know,
a
but
few
it,
meetings.
maybe there'll be more people here,
We
especially
need to
if it's an evening
continually,
meeting.
regularly do
just-
that, and I
just a
appreciate
reminder would
that,
be
yeah.
good.
I'd be happy to, cause I feel bad for them because they don't understand why you're not
Why
answering.
we're not responding.
Exactly, so I mean, it's a legit concern, and I would, if you're okay with me talking about it as an
Yeah.
education type of thing, I would be happy to.
I think that'd be good, since your office is in charge of board clerk duties, that would be
Da-da-da-da.
perfect.
Thank you.
So-
And it may not be a one and done, we're gonna regularly,
I
consistently have to
absolutely.
make sure everybody understands this.
I know, it's hard to watch. It's
It
hard
is.
to watch.
It
Let's
is.
move on.
So, and other taxing authorities have the same frustration when people speak, so it's not uncommon. Okay, anything else on that, Jess?
No, thank you.
All right, the next one is ordinance review and update.
So, there was a meeting held last night, work session, again, they made it to the start of the matrix, which is what's gonna show the permitted uses, whether they're permitted in that agriculture, in that district, or if a conditional use is needed. So they've gotten to that point, just starting into that, long ways to go, still a long ways to go. We did have, the board did set their next work session for March 31st, which I think is now gonna be an issue because you're doing, I think the
The
maximum.
levy public hearing.
Yeah.
Sorry about
so-
that.
So I will, reach out to them to see if we can figure out a different date or location, and go forward with that work session.
Could they meet in the conference room in the courthouse, perhaps?
Yeah, I mean, why not? That sounds like a great idea. I mean, I should have it on as a resource, if not, let me know, and, so it's just your group, your zoning,
Yeah,
Right?
well, and members of
Couldn't
public
you
too. I mean,
Public
there's-
too? Oh, I don't know
And
about
what if
that.
someone wants to attend both, then we're.
Oh, that's true.
Do you have room to do it Mitch's room?
Yeah,
I'm not gonna go in there after hours with him not there.
Yeah, and it's also not really big enough for the public on that time. And to your point, if they wanna attend both, you wanna be able to attend both.
sorry,
Just-
Ryan,
Can we
you know.
change it, can we alter the times, so that we're not conflicting and?
Well, ours is at
No, ours is
6.
set.
Oh,
And
Ryan,
we don't
can-
wanna limit public comment,
Yeah.
cause they get up to 10 minutes.
Can you change yours?
I will attempt to.
Yeah,
yes.
okay, we'll try that.
sorry for the conflict, Ryan.
And I don't know if you're aware of this, but, they are considering legislation now to strip local control away from county and city governments over renewals. There's a bill that passed the, committee in the House this
First funnel,
this
yeah.
past week, and it made it through first funnel. So that means you'll be on the floor debate. So I would pass that on to your zoning board and let them know that we need to communicate with our legislators, and it was a bipartisan support. So I don't know where this is coming from.
I was aware of it.
But it's gonna take a lot of our control away.
Yeah.
So.
They're taking control away in everything.
Yeah, so I encourage folks that if you don't want things like that in our county, is to contact your legislators on that. Okay, thank you, Ryan.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Ryan.
it. Okay, anyone else wish to say anything before we adjourn?
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Before you do that, can we show you our new, time's up notification?
Oh, no,
Oh.
are you gonna honk that horn?
Honk it.
No.
We thought we
You know
would
what,
just
though,
give
that might
a
generate
little
some
levity
laughter,
today,
yes.
a little
I
levity.
think I'm okay with that. You okay with that?
Yeah.
I
Okay.
don't, it's like a clown show.
No, we're just kind of a little levity.
Yes, so, yeah.
There's a motion and a second.
Sorry.
isn't there?
Yes.
Is there a motion and a second? All in favor of adjournment,
Aye.
please vote aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, motion carries, we are adjourned. Thank you.